Thane, you've been with the series the longest. How do you feel that the series, one of the series you probably started watching anime with, is now done?
Simulcast. Well, it started with a simulcast because I watched like the first episode. Like, wow, they release these weekly.
You literally started with episode 1?
No, like with episode 5.
Okay, it was really early though.
So it's like, wait, they release these episodes weekly? I don't have to wait. I can just watch them subtitled. I gotta get a membership. So I did.
That was Crunchyroll?
Yeah, that was Crunchyroll. When I read the manga first, actually I started reading the manga after season 1. When I read the manga first, like, that was it? Okay. But then watching an animated format, it's like, hey, this is pretty good. I thought, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Like, it's not perfect, obviously, but it's like, it's a fitting conclusion to everything.
Yeah.
It's hard to wrap up a story perfectly for how complex it was. You're not gonna win everyone over, obviously, but it was fine. It was serviceable.
Does it feel weird that like it's over now because it's just been around? It's kind of always just been there.
Not really. Like the manga kind of came out at a regular pace.
Yeah,
and I was like,
there wasn't very many breaks.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, it's over. In the anime, I was like, is it ever gonna end? Are they ever gonna? Honestly, thought like they were gonna like do like, oh, here's part 1, next is part 2. I don't remember, but part 3 they would have probably like 8 episodes or something. I don't know, but no, they did a weird release thing where like every part came out a year apart from each other.
Yeah,
it's really, really weird.
So for me, I got into Attack on Titan. I want to say it was the end of season 1, but it could have been season 2. I literally can't remember. It was probably season 1 because season 1 was 24 episodes, correct? Then season 2 was 12.
I believe so.
So basically, the way it worked is I watched like the first 12 episodes dubbed because that's what they had. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. And then I went to like episode 13 and it wasn't dubbed. I was like, where's the dub? And I started freaking out because it was brand new to anime basically. I only watched Sword Art Online.
They didn't do simuldubs yet.
And so I was like, whatever, I got to watch it. I got to keep going because I was that invested. I finished that entire season and I was like, oh no, when's the next season coming out? And it's like not even scheduled for like 2 years out or whatever. I'm like, where's this manga? I gotta that's what it's based on. Let's find it and read it.
On the Crunchyroll app.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, that's where I actually read it. It's like, wait, Crunchyroll has it on their app? That's when I started reading. I also read all of Fairy Tail.
So I basically read it all, got caught up. Interestingly enough, high school Cole is different than today Cole. Nowadays, I would start from chapter 1 and go from there. Back then, I didn't. I literally picked up from where it left off and just kept going from there.
This is a rare occasion where I think the anime is better. Even Isayama went back and said, hey, can you change this a bit?
Yeah, especially season 3 specifically. There's a lot of little moments like that. Interesting, funny thing, though, is I was telling my buddy about it. And I was like, yeah, you should give it a watch. And so we started watching it. And he only did the dub too as well. And then he finished the dub. He's like, give me the other episodes. And so I bring my flash drive to school and get it. It was good stuff. So I was sad. I was kind of sad. It was like, but more so sad when the manga ended, honestly. When the anime was getting the ending, I was like, kind of like Thane. But I remember when the manga ended, I was like, dang, dude. I'd been with this for like 8-7 years, something like that. I don't know.
That's crazy. I have not been with anything that long that continues to come out.
Yeah.
Unless you count every 5 years a Halo game comes out.
You got Rent a Girlfriend now.
That's true.
There's
That's probably been the
Attack on
longest
Titan.
thing that I've been with.
So when did you first watch the anime, Sky?
It was actually one of the first anime I ever watched, aside from Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was a kid. That kind of stuff. It was in high school. I think it was a sophomore, either sophomore or junior year. Thane actually had it on DVD, and he let me borrow it because he's like, bro, you need to watch this. Like, I know it's anime, and I know you think it's weird, but it's really good.
I don't think oh yeah, I did give you my DVDs. Like, here, I have the DVDs because you were watching it on that crappy quality YouTube's like, bro.
Like the tiny little picture and like the picture.
It was sped up. It was sped up too. I was like, bro, DVDs, just watch them.
You don't have the dogs be like that.
It's got like the border on it to like.
Yeah. No, I think I remember it was sped up. It was like zoomed. The picture was zoomed in.
Oh,
That was even worse. I would rather have the little picture in the corner than it having like zoomed in and look awful.
Listen, I'm willing to put up with a lot. You guys know
And
this.
now you know places where you don't have to put up with that.
I could
at
never
all.
put up with that.
I couldn't either. I go to YouTube rips, and if I found one that had the corner, it's like no, next one. And some they had like a whole series uploaded right on YouTube. I was like, yes.
Those are the Wild West of YouTube, basically.
That was the Wild West. But yeah, that was one of the first anime I ever watched, and yeah, it was really, really good. But after season 1, Thane told me that it's going to be a hot minute, so that was it.
Kind of just forgot about it.
Yeah, kind of. And then I think season 2 came out after we graduated, or maybe it was senior year. I can't remember. It was quite a few years after.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really liked it. And as far as the ending goes, like, something we'll talk about at the end of the show, but I think people are just salty.
I watched a Moist critical video on it that made me say like, yeah, people are stupid. He said like, people were really mad about the manga ending. And I thought, what are they sipping on stupid juice? And it's like, now I think about it, I don't think it was as bad as I thought. I think
savage.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how in the moment when we go read or watch other people's opinions, how it can morph yours
Oh, totally.
about something?
Totally. Yeah. Good show. I enjoy it. I'm happy with the series. And at the end of the episode, like I said, we're going to go over spoilers, so hold on for that.
If you haven't watched it, it's definitely worth watching. Like,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, like it's not as long as most shows. In fact, I'd say it's probably just a little longer than something like Full Metal Alchemist.
It's a very wild ride. The only thing I dislike about it is how they named everything. I think it's the stupidest thing ever.
Like what?
Like how they named everything. Like the seasons and the final.
Oh,
sorry.
like the actual titles.
Yeah, the actual titles.
I was literally just like the names of like items and stuff in the world.
No.
They're like ODM gear.
The titles of the seasons and
Yeah.
the chapter.
Super special final season part 7.
Yeah, that hot garbage.
Yeah. Well, that's just production issues, baby. When it comes to actual naming stuff, I actually like this because Isayama felt like he's like, oh, I want a Western name for this character.
Totally.
Eren Yeager.
Way easier to learn and memorize.
For our little anime days, our little kid anime days, we're just learning about Japanese.
Like, you'd have
Japan.
You have a guy and like on Toonami where they wouldn't change his name like a 4K dub. You hear like it's like
episode 4.
Okay, that guy.
There's like John.
Yeah, John Smith.
Like
John
when I was
Josuke.
younger, I probably wouldn't remember.
Maybe JoJo.
So I wanted to talk about the ending specifically.
Oh wait! Actually, before you say this, spoiler alert now for Attack on Titan. If you don't want spoilers, this is not the time to listen. Okay, let's go.
And I'm going to preface this with, I didn't read the manga. I didn't read any of it. So a couple years ago, the manga ended, and Cole came to me, and he said, yeah, I don't know how I feel about the ending, but the community effing hates it. So fast forward till now, like, my impressions of the ending were going to be, okay, this is just going to be a hot ball of garbage, and everybody's going to hate it. Granted, you did come to me afterwards, this going back 2 years. I think you just let it simmer for like a couple days, and you're like, yeah, it's not that bad. Not that you ever said you hated it. I think you were just indifferent.
I never hated it either. I thought,
Yeah, I mean, like,
that did not blow me away.
Totally. That's exactly what I thought. And like, so I want to preface this a little bit with some like manga discussion from probably 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago or so. When we were probably near the start of the rumbling in the manga, a lot of the manga discussion was basically people saying, oh, we're going to get a Code Geass ending. This has got to be some kind of Code Geass ending. He's going to loosh it up or something. And he did. He basically did. And I don't know why that didn't become a discussion after the fact, because everybody was talking about it before, that it was going to be a Code Geass, but then, oh, sorry if I spoiled Code Geass for y'all. I'll throw out a warning. It's a video at this point. This is not going as a podcast.
It's okay. It's an old anime.
And everybody was talking about it, but as soon as the ending happened, nobody talked about it in that aspect. Well, that's exactly what it was. He literally was setting up a scenario so that his friends could get the glory and not essentially be murdered on the spot because of what they were, which was Eldians. And I thought that was great. I think that's fine. I think it worked well in Code Geass. I think it worked better in Code Geass. I don't think it works as well as here. But the icing on the cake, in my opinion, is just the fact that it didn't work perfectly in Attack on Titan. People still didn't like his friends. They didn't like the Eldians still. They knew that they were probably safe now and they weren't going to all of a sudden burst into Titans, but they still kind of shunned them. And the funny part about it is both sides shunned them, the people in the outside world and Paradise Island. They were literally going to Paradise to say, hey, we're chill now, right? Because essentially they betrayed Paradise originally because Paradise was still on Aaron's side. Anyway, so that was what simmered in my brain between our two conversations, and that's why I was like, yeah, I'm okay with it.
I thought it was very fitting. Like, this is not a happy show. We don't really get a happy ending either.
No.
Like, what was it, 75 or 80% of all the people died?
80%.
It was
80% of the entire population of the world.
Yeah, so when people... I guess they wanted everyone to die. I don't know. What was the...
There was a lot of people on Aaron's side. They wanted Aaron to be this conniving person who was just willing to go all the way, when he literally was never that. Even from the very beginning, that he was just a weak kid that never could do it all the way. He always tried and he always wanted to, but hey, basically 80% of his life. Let's be honest. Like, even like you go back to him, like when he was training and stuff like that, he kept trying really hard and kept trying to get better and better. But like, he was like, what, 7 out of 10 in his class?
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't that good. He was just okay. He didn't kill an actual Titan with ODM gear until like season 2. And he literally died trying to at the beginning. Like, he was never that good. Mm-mm. And he was never that person that he always wanted to be. And I think that's the whole point of it. Like, sure, you grow and you change a bit, but like, do you really change that much from who you are? You're still kind of yourself. You're your own personality. And I'm not saying your personality doesn't change, and everybody's different, you know?
Well, I feel like Aaron always had one goal of just he wanted to protect the ones that he loves.
Yeah.
And he didn't care at what that would cost.
Exactly.
And the fact that he saw all the future, he like basically knew what was going to happen from that moment forward when he touched Historia. I think that kind of solidifies it, but it's also like in my brain, I tried to put myself in his shoes, and Aaron lays it out when he was talking to Armin, I believe, either him or Mikasa in the flashback thing, where he's like, yeah, like I've ran all the scenarios and this is it. This is what's going to happen. So sorry. Hopefully you make it out alive.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought it was very fitting. I thought that it was a very dark and depressing ending to a very dark and depressing story.
So there are some slight changes that they did wording wise from the manga to the anime. In the manga, or rather in the anime, let's go anime first. In the anime, when Armin and Eren are talking in their path state or whatever it is, Armin says, basically he says, oh shoot, he's like, I don't remember the exact wording, but is it something along the lines of like, I'll bear your sins with you or something like that, and like, yeah. And in the manga, the wording was like, thanks for committing genocide for us. I appreciate it, bro. It's kind of like that. And that's another thing people disliked. And I get that. I don't know if it was a translation error or if it was just Isayama not really knowing how to do dialogue in that moment, because who does how do you do dialogue for that moment? And so I think they just did it better in the anime. The final thing, this is something I actually don't really care about. I don't like Eren liking Mikasa. I don't like that ship in general. I like Mikasa liking Eren because that makes sense. That's how it's always been. I don't like Eren all of a sudden realizing that he always knew, but I don't like the reveal anyway that he liked Mikasa back, essentially. That never felt right in my mind. I didn't ever see him.
You always thought of his sister.
He never acted like like that to her. And so I didn't ever agree with that. That was just one of those things. Obviously still happens in the anime. I never agreed with that just from a character point. And I think there could have been a lot of really interesting things done with a romance subplot. I was really big on the Eren impregnated Historia thing from like 3.5 years ago at this point. Maybe 4 years ago. That was a big thing people were pushing. I was really on board with that. I thought that made a lot of sense, and I thought it would have been really interesting for the plot. I was disappointed when it was just some random farmer dude.
Yeah.
I think how I saw their relationship was Eren, I think, always did like her, but he just never showed it. Never showed it at all.
For Mikasa? Yeah.
Yeah, especially after he found out that she's going to be the one that kills him. Why would he even bother?
Totally.
It's just like, well, now I'm going to suppress those feelings even more. I'm actually going to be a dick to her and all my friends. I need to get everyone to hate me so that this plays out how it's supposed to, I guess.
It's super interesting because in that aspect it is like Code Geass, but in like Code Geass, Suzaku knew. He's like, that's why it worked, because Suzaku's the only one that actually knew. I guess they find out in the end, but they still do it without knowing. But you know what I mean.
I think the other moment I wanted to talk about, and I didn't know this until you brought it up to me, but the part where Eren breaks down and starts crying, everybody really hated that.
Hated it.
Why?
Because they felt like it wasn't Eren's character. And I'll tell you why. It's because he had been acting as this other person. That is Eren. You go back and watch seasons 1 through 3, you know that's Eren.
Yeah.
And then we get season 4 Eren, and everyone's like, yes, I love this guy. He's so freaking cool. He does so many cool things. Look at him murder all these innocent people.
Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker. It's basically that. And they wanted that. They wanted Eren to be that person. When he says, yeah, I was just an idiot with too much power. I don't know what's happening. Everyone was like, no. They were mad.
See, I thought it was very fitting, because you're right. That was, to me anyway, I was like, oh, yeah, that's the kid that I remember from all the episodes prior that I've seen.
Totally.
Is he's never really been confident. It's all fake confidence. And he's just a kid. Like, his life sucks. It never gets good, in my opinion. His life sucks from as soon as Berthold, is that his name?
Berthold kicks the door.
Yeah, as soon as he kicks the door and all of his family, like his mom dies, like his life sucks. His life sucks.
I think the reason why people probably were mad is probably they saw it as a character arc. They thought him becoming this stoic person was a part of his arc, and that's where he became because of everything he'd seen in the past. But in reality, that was just who he had to be because of the things he saw, It's like he regressed so much after seeing all of these terrible things you're just bringing, and then he saw everything else and is like, oh, it's even farther than I thought. F me, man. And so he essentially went depresso mode, I bet. And I think they thought it was a character arc, when in reality it was him just essentially becoming emotionless because he's seen everything.
Right. And if you put yourself in his shoes, how could you be anything other than emotionless? Yeah. Like there's no good ending that comes from that.
His arc really is just dealing with all of these terrible things rather than changing the person he is because of them. It's literally just the fact that he's dealing with them. He never really gets a break dealing with these terrible things, and that's why he doesn't really have time to change who he is. He just has to keep rolling with it.
Right, but there's also a time limit. Like I maybe people forgot that these Titans only have 7 years, and we get a time skip.
It's 13.
Oh, it's 13?
Yeah, but he was a kid when he got it.
Right, so we get a time skip. What is he, 18 or 19? Well, how old is he at the end of the show?
He's like 20 or something. I think he has 3 or 4 years left.
Right.
But like Rhina, literally a year and a half. Zeke's like 9 months.
That was another thing I really liked too, except for Zeke. Eren, not only did he save his friends, he saved his friends.
Oh,
like they were going to die because they had all of his friends besides Mikasa, Connie, and John. Who else lived?
Armin.
Well, Armin had a Titan. I'm doing the ones that didn't have Titans in them.
Oh, yeah. I guess Levi, if you want to count him.
But I guess, no, let's just count them all because they're still Eldian. So they could still they did turn into Titans. Eren saved them all. I guess Mikasa saved them all, but like in a roundabout way, that was Eren's plan from day one.
His whole plan.
He just wanted to save his homies. and
Yeah.
80% of the people had to go down with them, I guess. Like, it's sad.
Yeah.
But, like, going back to what I said earlier, I think this is a very sad ending to a very sad story. And I thought it was very fitting, especially finding out how mad people were. And then this is what they're mad about.
It's funny because I've seen so many comments recently about, like, I expected this to be Game of Thrones 2, but it wasn't.
No.
And, like, I'm just like, yeah, it's not that bad. And I've seen Game of Thrones. It's not great, but I definitely think Attack on Titan's ending's far better.
Yeah.
You know?
At least Attack on Titan had the same writer. Actually had a vision.
Yeah, true.
Game of Thrones, like, the writers did not know what to do with it.
After the actual writer didn't have any other content.
Yeah, he's
to
like,
follow.
sorry guys,
It'd be like, okay, it's just like your typical old school anime only ending, like Full Metal, for example. They ran out of
Like
source
Gantz.
material, and so they just came up with something.
Well, Full Metal Alchemist 1 actually was good.
Yeah. I didn't imply that. I didn't mean to imply that it was bad.
But Gantz, I know the ending to the Gantz anime. It's like, oof.
Yeah, so I guess that's one thing. It's just be happy that we had all of the source material, so it was the cohesive story, essentially. By the way, I think the adaptation is pretty dang solid. I think it's one of the better adaptations I've seen because not only it's one for one when it needs to be, and it adapts and changes things when it needs to as well. It fixes pacing issues and stuff. For example, the beginning of season 3, the whole political takeover that they're doing, the literal coup, essentially, that they're going through, terribly paced in the manga. I remember reading this month by month and being like, what's happening? You know? But in the ad, and that's my favorite arc in the series, honestly, even during the manga, and I thought they made it better in the anime. So, anime's great. I think they did a good job.
Yeah.
I think another thing that, not that I really give a crap what people think, like, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. But I've seen a lot of comments, and I even went after the episode. I finished it. We were going through and reading some of the comments. Everybody's just like, this is trash, worst ending ever. But nobody ever explains why they don't like it. I've never seen anyone explain.
It feels like it's just a bunch of rage bait.
Right, and I think it goes, like, an element to it that people are mad about is their boy dies. Like, a main character dies. But it's like, bro, like, get over it, man.
It's those people that wanted to be the edgy guy.
I think when the rumbling happens, like, well, Aaron's gonna. The only way to kill him, Aaron's gonna die. I knew he was gonna die. Like, it's either Aaron dies, or
he wins.
He wins. He kind of does both.
Well, it's either Aaron dies or everyone dies.
Yeah. So it's like, well, Aaron became the villain.
But
yeah, totally.
I feel like pretty much when I started to see Aaron turn into a villain, in my brain, and maybe it's just because I've seen so many shows where the good guy becomes the villain, I'm like, oh, he's going to die then. That's usually how it goes. You live long enough, or you die a hero, or you live long enough to become the villain and die.
And then you die.
And then you die.
I like the shot where it's like, the backstory is where, like, Ymir gets hit by a spear. She falls in the tree, and it's like, King Fritz, like, you have power. And then she serves the king, and that she loved him. It's like Stockholm syndrome there.
It's interesting. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
And then you see her die. She gets hit by the spear to save the king. Yeah. But then there's a shot where it's like the king has a spear through him, and she's holding her children. It's like, God damn, what if? Like,
what if?
If that happened, this whole mess would have not happened.
Gone, dude. So it's really interesting. I didn't see much discourse about this specific plot point in the manga, but since the anime has come out, I've seen so much discourse about it. About the idea of the reason the Titans kept existing was because Ymir fell in love with King Fritz and was essentially following his orders and forever and ever. People hated that in the anime. People didn't even really say much about it in the manga. Yeah. It was kind of just one of those, whatever, I guess. In my opinion, I thought it was a good idea to do. Thane's right. It's like a Stockholm syndrome kind of thing. It's like this guy that has power over you and essentially saved you from despair. Big quotations, because obviously she's still a slave, but like she's not dead, and I guess that's kind of what her brain thought. Granted, she was also a kid when it all happened, so you get what I'm saying. I thought it was great though how it's essentially symbolic for Ymir to be all like, okay, I need to get over this, essentially. If I see somebody in the same situation as me, essentially be able to get over it, then I'll be able to move on as well. And that's why Mikasa was able to do it, because she was roughly in the same situation as Eren, and she did what she needed to do and lifted the curse, for lack of a better word. I mean, that's correct, actually, because it was the curse of Ymir. That's why they called it. But yeah, I think that plot point makes a ton of sense, and I actually really enjoy it. And I especially like it more so in the anime because of that exact scene that Thane said, where it does show King Fritz with a spear in his chest, and she's like clutching her. I don't think we get that in the manga. I don't think we get that little flash of a picture of what could have been, kind of a thing. And I imagine that was Ymir's like thought process of getting past it, essentially.
And maybe Isayama was like, oh, I kind of need to visualize this so people can see it.
But yeah, it's really interesting how much people disliked that in the anime more so than the manga.
I think my hot take, this will be my last thought on it, is I think Attack on Titan in 10 years will be remembered as one of the best animes ever of all time. Like, it's a GOAT.
Yeah,
and I think after people sit on it and they start hearing more discourse about it other than it's just a hot ball of crap, which I disagree with, I think people will come around.
I think that's one of the greatest examples of why it's so good, is because there is so much discourse about it. I think that's what makes it maybe not good. Maybe I shouldn't use the word good. I think it's good. I think we all kind of do think it's good. I think the word I should have used is like it's a I don't know the word actually. It just creates so much discussion, like so many different people can talk about different aspects of it and keep dissecting it and keep doing all these different things with it because of how deep it is. It's got so much depth to it that they can do all this stuff with it.
Yeah, well, it begs people to think.
Totally.
You have to think. It's not just one of those, oh, it ended. Like, you could dissect why and how and when and what and stuff like what Thane just brought up, which to me seems like not a lot of people have even thought about that.
These discourses are going to be happening, like you said, for the next 10 or so years or more. It really is going to be one of those ones, and I completely agree with what you said. Yeah, good stuff. I think people are always going to have these similar ideas on the ending. I think they're going to say it's bad or it's good, either way. But, hey, people are going to still be talking about it.
Sure,
I think it's going to be one of those things that always is kind of just talked about.
Yeah, and if you hate the ending, you're allowed to hate it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Tell me why, though. I would love, like, I like to learn both sides because I'm only seeing it one way right now because I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the ending. I thought it was very fitting.
Yeah, we're really only seeing the loud people who just say they're sad that Eren didn't become the bad guy that they wanted.
He didn't 100% the mission. He 80%ed the mission.
But yeah, tell us what you guys thought about it. We'd love to hear your comments. Tell us why. If you feel like debating our comments, go for it. I don't know if we'll talk back, but
Eren was the quiet kid in the back of the classroom.
he's the quiet kid in the back of the world.
God.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching this. If you haven't seen our normal show, go check it out. We do a bi-weekly anime watch-along as well as talk about our seasonal shows that we're watching and the anime news as well. We just got done doing Call of the Night, and now we're doing a anime called Link Click that apparently was written in China but animated in Japan. So look forward to that one. Yeah, check out our other stuff too.
Well, Solo Leveling was Korea. But
yeah,
Solo Leveling's like probably the most anticipated anime next season.
It really almost of the whole year, honestly. Yeah. People are really excited for that one.
2024.
So I don't have to read it yet. I can watch the anime.
Anime starts next season, so
bet.
That's right. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys later and have a great life.
Bye.
Bye.